She rolled over to her side of the bed, pulling the blanket with her like she was staking her territory. Then, without even looking at me, she said, "Intimacy isn't everything." That was the moment I realized I was just her paycheck with a heartbeat. I'm Marcus, 33. I work in construction management, 12-hour days, 6 days a week. I don't complain. I never have. My dad taught me that a man's worth was in what he provides. So I provided. We lived, in a nice condo downtown. Modern kitchen, stainless steel appliances, hardwood floors she picked out. The kind of place you show off on social media with the caption, #blessed. Except behind the filters and carefully cropped photos. Our relationship was rotting. I met Rachel 3 years ago. Back then, she was magnetic. Laugh like honey, energy like fire. She made me feel alive, like I finally had someone to build a future with. So I built it. I paid off her credit card debt, co-signed on a car she needed for work. And when she got laid off 6 months later, I told her not to worry. "I've got us," I said. She didn't get another job. Said she wanted to explore her creativity. Started a YouTube channel. Posted maybe 5 videos in a year. Meanwhile, groceries magically appeared. The rent was paid early, and her phone never got shut off. I didn't say much. I figured relationships go through seasons. I believed in patience. But something shifted in her. The kisses became pecks. The conversations became one-word answers. The laughter stopped echoing through our home. Every time I reached out, physically or emotionally, she recoiled, like I was an obligation she couldn't shake. I brought it up once. Told her I missed her. Told her it felt like we were roommates with a shared calendar. You know what she said? "Marcus, you act like I owe you something just because you pay bills." That one stung, and it never left me. Last week, I tried again. I reached for her under the sheets. Nothing forceful, just a soft touch. The kind that used to mean, "I love you," without saying it. She flinched, rolled over. Then came the dagger. Intimacy isn't everything. I stared at the ceiling, blinking back a fury I couldn't even describe. I wasn't asking for everything. I was asking for connection, for partnership, for the kind of touch that says, "I see you, and I still want you." But what I got was a reminder, to her. I was a provider first and a partner second, if that. And right then, in that cold, silent bedroom, I decided something. If intimacy wasn't everything, then neither was paying her bills. It's funny how people only notice your value when it stops being handed to them. The morning after she dismissed my touch like it was an inconvenience, I got out of bed early, earlier than usual. No goodbye kiss. No breakfast. Just grabbed my keys and left. I sat in my truck for a minute, engine running, hands still on the steering wheel. Then I started making calls. First, I called the electric company. Took her off the joint account. Switched the card to mine and changed the password. Then the internet, same deal. Our Netflix, Spotify, Amazon Prime, all under my name, my dime. One by one, I cut off the lifelines. She thought I'd just keep it all going. Like her comfort was a utility I was morally obligated to fund. She liked to say she was working on herself, that healing isn't linear, that her energy was just off lately. Sure, but she had no problem draining my bank account while she figured it out. By the end of the day, I had changed the locks on the side account we shared for household expenses. Closed it entirely. She never contributed to it anyway. I rerouted my direct deposit to a new private account. Bought a prepaid Visa card and left it on the kitchen counter with $100. More than generous for someone who hadn't paid for shampoo in months. That evening, I came home calm. She was sitting on the couch, blanket wrapped around her, watching some true crime show like nothing had changed. I said nothing. Just showered, ate alone, and went to bed. The next day it began. "Babe, do you know the Wi-Fi isn't working?" I looked up from my coffee. Not sure. Maybe try your data plan." 10 minutes later, my card declined at Target. I shrugged. Guess intimacy isn't everything. Her eyes narrowed. What's that supposed to mean? It means I stopped covering everything just because. I exist in the same space as you. She stared at me like I was speaking a foreign language. So you're punishing me because we're not being intimate enough? I stood up, leaned on the table, and looked her dead in the eye. No, I'm reminding you that I'm not an ATM with a pulse. You made it clear what you don't owe me. I'm just returning the favor. That's when the tone changed. She got quiet. Real quiet. Like it hadn't even occurred to her that there would be consequences. Like emotional neglect didn't come with a price tag. She tried to argue. say I was being petty, that couples go through dry spells, that I should be supportive. But I'd supported her. In every way. What I needed, what I begged for, was connection, respect, effort. Instead, she gave me cold shoulders and cold sheets. So now, I was giving her cold, hard reality. And she was finally starting to feel it. For 3 days, the silence between us was louder than any argument we'd ever had. No music from the speakers. No takeout containers on the counter. No lazy laughter echoing down the hall. Just cold floors and tension so thick it could snap your neck if you stepped wrong. On the 4th day, she started changing. I came home to the smell of pasta. Alfredo, the kind she used to make. When we first moved in. Candle burning. Table set. She was even wearing the old hoodie she used to borrow from me. Hey, she said softly. I thought you might be hungry. I was. But not for that. I sat down, ate, thanked her, then went to the bedroom without another word. The next morning, the bed was made, dishes cleaned, music playing low. She was dressed, not in a bathrobe like usual, but in jeans and a blouse, makeup lightly done. I was thinking we could go for a walk later, she offered, like she hadn't been emotionally MIA for months. I nodded. Sure. But inside, I was done. You see, when a man asks for love and gets leftovers, he doesn't forget. When he's pushed to the emotional sidelines while still showing up. Every single day, he stops hoping. Then he stops caring. And eventually, he stops staying. That weekend, I told her I was leaving. I'd found a short-term rental. Already packed. Already paid. She blinked fast. Wait, what? You're just walking away? No, I said calmly. I walked away a long time ago. I just didn't take my body with me until now. Her mouth trembled. You're seriously leaving me over this? This? I repeated. This was months of being ignored. Touched like I was an obligation. Treated like a resource. You think this is sudden? I think this is overdue. Then came the tears. The apologies. I didn't realize how far things had gone. That was the most honest thing she'd said in months. She really hadn't realized. Because she assumed I'd always be there. That my patience was permanent. That my love was unconditional, even when hers had all but vanished. She begged me to reconsider. Said she'd do better. Suggested therapy. Promised things would change. But they already had. I left the next morning. She stood in the doorway, holding back sobs. I looked at her one last time and said, you were right. Intimacy isn't everything. But now you know, neither is security when it's taken for granted. Now, it's my turn to ask you, dear viewers. Have you ever stayed in a relationship where you gave everything and got nothing in return until it broke you? Let me know in the comments. I'm listening.